Yo, 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 yo. What is up? What is up? What is up? What's going on, YouTube? Hello. Sorry I'm late. I was dedicated to going live today. I just had to do some stuff first, and it set me back a little bit. Oh my gosh, hair's looking crazy. Anyway, what's going on, everybody? I look red. Man, this lighting is rough. How you guys doing? GB19, Taki Paki, yo. Crack this thing. Text Prana. There's Mike. Oh. Caffeine. What is up, everybody? I'm gonna let it build up a little bit. Let me know if do you guys hear any weird background noise or anything? The TV's on over there. I'm just not sure if it's too loud or not, if it's affecting things. Anyway, how's everybody doing? It's been a week. What up, Mark, KDX Rider? What's going on, guys? If you guys can hit the thumbs up button on your way in, I would appreciate it so much. Today, I think a lot about what we're going to talk about, right? You run out of topics. I don't like being the guy. I don't want to be the guy that just goes live just to go live, nothing to talk about. So today is going to be a bit nerdy. It's going to be for arm wrestling nerds. Sorry, guys, but it's interesting to me. And I know it'll be interesting to some of you. Hopefully, maybe all of you. Maybe you guys all enjoy this. But a buddy of mine, a guy named Cal Meyer, he's an arm wrestler out here in Southern California. Newer guy, tall. He's actually taller than me. He wrote basically a guide or arm wrestling research. He wrote down this long thing, right, going over the ins and outs of arm wrestling the way he sees it. I don't know how long he's been in the sport. I would guess 2 years. I don't know. Sorry if I'm way off. Or a year and a half, 2 years. It feels like I've been seeing him for like 2 years. I don't know how long it's been. So I'm sorry if I'm off, Cal, if you're gonna watch this. But he sent me this, and I told him, I was gonna look at it. I asked him if it was cool if I, shared it with people and gave him credit for it and all that stuff. And he said, yeah. So I want to go over this today. I'm gonna read it to you guys, what he has, and we'll go over it piece by piece, kind of, right? So I don't know if you can see it. It's pretty bright. There we go. It's a lot, right? He goes over all the muscles that are involved, the different styles, ways to train for arm wrestling, things like that. Maybe we turn this into a series. I don't know. This seems like a lot, but maybe we turn this into a series. That's a lot of writing. But he said he made it basically for new people that get in the sport to kind of get them acquainted with it. Well, I figured it'd be a good idea to go over it. Read some stuff. You guys might have some of the same thoughts that he's putting on there, and I might agree as well. But then also there might be some stuff I disagree with, and then it could create talking points as well. So maybe we'll just we'll see how it goes. We'll see how far we make it down before we hit. Usually I end at 6 o'clock. It's 4:50. We'll see how far we make it, and then maybe we'll just bookmark it, and next time come back to that. So Drew, what's going on? GB19. Devin looking huge. Sure. See, this is what I'm talking about. Topics that are interesting that we haven't talked about 1,000 times. I'm watching from inside my Gundam. I have monitors in it. Hey, attaboy, Wing Zero. Andy Beckett, hey, Derek and chat. What's going on? What's going on, Andy? Check out your text real quick. Saw it, Mike. Yeah, maybe we'll get into that. I don't know. Okay. So, starting at the top of this, once again, he made this to go towards new arm wrestlers. Yeah. What up, Veronica? Yo. It says the goal of this is to provide more information for the average intermediate arm wrestler. With this knowledge, hopefully training and pulling can be modified to help continue making progress to get to the pro level. This is broken up into the following categories: musculature, exercises, section, biomechanics, training frequency, role of tendons, and injury rehab. These are interesting. These are things I like to talk about for sure. Chimp, yo, what's going on, Chimp? Been a while since I've seen you, Chimp. Been a while. Miss you, bud. Hope you're doing well. Roy, what's going on? All right. So he says, first and foremost, arm wrestling is a strength sport with some technique. Imagine it as a more complicated version of powerlifting. Similar to actual wrestling, technique does play a role. However, strength gaps between weight classes clearly show that strength is superior. One may say that if that's so, how can I beat a guy with X incredible lift or X higher body weight? And there are a myriad of factors. Main ones can include. Okay. Before we go too far, I don't know. I thought about this. I started reading a little bit of it. I made it basically to the end of this little part, and then I decided I want to go over it on the podcast. Strength sport with some technique. Strength is king. Strength is king. All things considered equal, though, if everybody hits similar strength levels, then it goes back to technique. That will be the difference, you know? I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I don't know if I have a solid opinion on it in terms of strength versus technique throughout the entire sport. Generally, it definitely is a strength sport for sure. I believe it's a combat sport as well because you're physically competing with another person. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think it's – give me a percentage. You guys think it's 90% strength, 10% technique? I mean, when Devin pulled Denis Saplenkov left-handed, that wasn't a technique thing at all, right? Devin had the best techniques in the world, and Denis was just way too strong. Basic, just grabbing him around the wrist, grabbing him around the wrist. I don't know. So in that showcase right there, strength was everything. Doesn't matter what move you have. The strength gap is too big. I think we always usually generally say that technique matters if it's within a certain strength gap, within like 10% or I don't know, whatever percentage you want to think of. If it's within a certain percentage, then technique starts mattering. What do you guys think? Ajay, yo. Hey, Derek, when are you training with Brian Shaw again? I haven't heard anything. I know, actually, I talked to Wes Bjornson. He said he wanted to get me out there soon. I don't know, though. We haven't talked about any dates. Best arm wrestling table? Mazarenko tables are usually held at the highest standard. You got people like Brez taking every class. How do you categorize him? I know exactly. Chim says, I have arm wrestle guys my height who are so strong they can literally cup and internal rotate, no elbow or torso movement, and they know nothing about arm wrestling. It's strength first. Yeah, the debate's not what it is first or second, right? It's overall, whole scope of the sport is what I'm talking about. Jeff Hakala says, Devin's quote, first be strong. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not denying strength is important for sure. What about the question I asked you guys, though? How about that? Cameron McNeely says, glad to see you. See you again. You have some of the highest potential in the sport. Thank you, Cameron. I appreciate you. Thank you, sir. Brian Shaw won on strength 95%. GB19 says, most pros are strong enough to hang with 99% of non-arm wrestlers at any weight class. But most pros are strong enough to hang with 9% of non-arm wrestlers in any weight class. Ajay says, who was the rival that you felt was the most powerful you have faced in arm wrestling? Well, rival would mean someone I'm continuously like eyeing that I'm supposed to be going back and forth with, but then that's not the most powerful person I ever felt. So I don't know. Like I've gripped up and messed around with Levon. I'm not gonna say Levon's my rival. So you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. Straight first, the top woman will not be at Brian Shaw. Okay. Jim says, overall, I think the reason we all like arm wrestling is it's a technique sport. It's fascinating. That's why we all got hooked, no pun intended. Markish, yo, what up, man? Cole Cruzat says, haven't tuned into the stream in a while. Hope everything's good. Yes, everything's great. Everything's fantastic. We're just getting nerdy. We're going to talk about ins and outs of arm wrestling. Okay. So strength wins out in the end, usually. We could go down a whole rabbit hole with this too. Because what are we calling the King's move strength? Or is it such a technically proficient move, someone who's not as strong can beat guys that are way stronger than them way down the road? Anyway, that's like, I think that's a whole nother discussion we can get into. Because the King's move can be prevalent at very high levels of the sport. I'm not saying it's the top, but it's up there with a significant strength gap. I don't know. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Do you guys see what I'm saying? That could be like a whole different discussion. King's move. Will we classify that as strength? Especially if we talk about if it's an actual bone lock or whatever. Is it? I don't know. I never really thought about that, where that falls into the conversation of strength. Any chance you do a super match reviews of newbies? Yeah, I used to do that stuff for sure. Wouldn't strength fall under endurance moves as well? I don't know. But their arms are at their full. They're fully extended? Is it endurance if they're sitting at their full extension? Do Devin and Michael Todd, when their King's moving, have the most endurance in the world? Where they can look at their friends and laugh and stuff while the other top guy in the world is giving everything they have and they're just like not even breathing hard? Is that endurance? Or something just stopping? I don't know. He's saying new people default to the King's move because they've seen it online, says Veronica. I agree. Chimp says Levon allows Devin to get his grip and still wins, which is crazy. Do you think Levon could fight for the grip if Devin was strong enough to necessitate it? Do you think Levon could fight for the grip? No, I think Levon could probably do it with not even a superior grip or superior setup. I think he's that strong. Pronation is a strength gap. Not getting palmed up by himself is a strength. Not really, in my opinion. We talked about this, I think, last time I was live. Pronation. Pronator muscle, right? Pronator muscle. Palm up, palm down, flexion. Boom. King's move, a lot of times, they can be fully supinated, right? Pronation, the pronator muscle has been turned all the way over. And how do they pronate? By dipping their shoulder, by rotating their frame. That's not muscular pronation, utilizing the muscle, right? That's literally turning their skeletal structure by leaning their body forward and utilizing body weight. That's not actively pronating. They're all the way supinated. They lean forward, and it makes your thumb go up. I wouldn't call that strength. You know what I mean? Well, that part. I mean, I don't want this to come across as like a Derek hating on King's move thing. That's not my goal here. But in terms of that, the pronation part, I don't agree. Who do you think should or could be your next rival in arm wrestling? I don't know. I don't really think about that. Myself, I. That's my next rival. Myself versus me. GB19 says, can you say now how Brian compared to Larry Wheels or others? I mean, okay. Even if Brian wasn't my buddy and I was just spilling all secrets, still couldn't really say, man. Because you got to think, like, the last time I pulled with Larry had been into it for a while. Larry was already understanding how to apply pressure on top of being stupidly strong, but he was understanding how to protect his hand. He was getting it. Brian was really new. So it's not like, is Brian stronger than Larry? It's like, does Brian know how to use what he has as much as Larry knew how to use what he had? That's the question. So it's just different. Like, if I isolated Brian's bicep, was it as strong as Larry's? I don't know. I didn't do that. You know what I mean? So Brian was just too new. He wasn't putting it all together yet. So it's not even a fair comparison in that sense, right? Just with time, right? That's not muscular or anything. Little Derek. Emiliano says, if you are rowing at the same, you pronate, definitely is a strength. But if you're rowing, so we'll say in my example, your palms up. If you're rowing, sliding your elbow back, no, as long as you dip sideways with your skeleton, it'll rotate your hand. Doesn't matter if your elbow is forward or backwards. Power Nick says, "What's up, man? Oh, chilling. What's up, Power?" Linky Slinky, yo, what up, man? Chimp says, "Yep, pronation is defined relative to the body. King's movers are not automatically pronated; they are supinated, but in relation to the opponent's hand, they are pronated. It still needs pronation at some point in the match." Yeah, and I'm not saying Devin's weak or anything like that, but we've had this conversation about pronation in a King's move. And I'm not saying every King's mover is all the way open and all the way palm up, not by any means, but there are definitely a significant amount of them that do get to that situation and you see them start rocking, right? Their arm stops like here. And so they're here to stop. I mean, if it'd be pretty basic. If they were stopping with their pronation, with just the muscles in their pronation, then you wouldn't see their shoulder nearly dipping to the side to hit the defense. Right? They're hitting their shoulder to the side to hit that locking point in their skeletal structure where they can just rotate their bones. If they're doing it with muscle, they would just be like, right? If they were just doing it with the muscle in their forearms. A King's move performed correctly is a static row with pronation. So I think is a strength, maybe not beautiful, but as a strength. I'd have to. Isn't a flop rest press using your frame? King's move using as well, I would say. Sure. I mean, once you get there. Getting there is the tough point with the flop press because you do have to start in a neutral spot. And if people arm wrestle the way like Levon pulled Jerry or things like that, where they move your forearm here, it's hard to get your flop press. But if you can get there somehow on your side of the table, then, I mean, it still requires strength, but a lot of it is, especially the taller you get, a lot of it is, body weight and frame, I guess, but it still requires muscle just to get there. And then there's still going to be more force in driving it down. So it's not like you're just lazily leaning forward. It's not like that. And you can't let their hand touch your shoulder. So, is there no pay-per-view for East vs. West 16? Haven't heard anything. Not sure. Chimp says it won't be in Core Sports website. It's not announced on how to watch it yet. Oh yeah, because they're not messing with Core Sports. Oh, they'll definitely have a pay-per-view for sure, 100%. I'm sure they're just trying to figure out which company they want to work with. Okay, moving forward. It's going to take us 3 months to work through this. Maybe I'll do like on Wednesdays, we'll do like a part of nerdiness and then a part of like pop arm wrestling culture. Maybe that's the way to do it rather than the entire thing nerdy. Maybe like first hour of talking about ins and outs of arm wrestling, but I understand it's not entertaining to people that are just fans of the sport, but aren't arm wrestlers. So he's talking about how there are myriad of factors of why somebody could beat somebody that has a stronger lift than them. He says main ones include they aren't strong with some of their musculature specific to arm wrestling. They don't have natural efficiency. Not natural. Sorry, neural. My bad. Neural efficiency. He says neural efficiency is recruiting more motor units of their muscles and activating their muscles to their fullest strength faster. Or they don't have appropriate movement plan. So he's talking about reasons that someone with technique could beat someone that has stronger lift. But that goes back into the argument of technique versus strength. He's just making excuses for the guy that's stronger as to why he lost. Yeah, he lost because he didn't have good technique. That's basically everything he just listed, right? Is because he doesn't have good technique in arm wrestling or experience in it. Yep. So it is closer than you'd say than just almost all strength sport, little with some technique. I don't agree as much. I like in my mind, I feel like I'd give it throughout the entire sport span of your career and stuff like that, or from beginning level to elite level. I'll give strength a nod. 60-40 in my head as of right now. Let's see. Okay, it's now owned by Robert Baxter and Engen. Johnny says, ever locking that match with Pretty Ricky? Sorry, I don't read my comments to Eric. Loggy says East vs. West 17 being in an esports arena is interesting. Curious to see how they utilize that stage. Yeah, me too. I saw some of the links for the esports arena. I haven't really looked around into it to see exactly how the stage is, but I'm sure that stage is very customizable. I'm sure you could change it around a lot to look a lot of different ways and to serve a lot of different purposes. So how they would need it for an arm wrestling match, I'm not sure. I mean, it's only one table. There's only so many camera angles and things you can get on there. But I'm sure it's going to be badass for sure. Eastern West YouTube channel, pay-per-view streaming would work very well. Better server, says Drew. Emiliano says, Devin's bicep broken in King's move versus Levon because you need strength. So conclusion, you need strength to do a King's move. And I'm not trying to say people with King's moves don't utilize any strength at all. I'm saying at the very limits of it, the very most open they can get, most King's movers end up, the thing that saves them is their frame. I'm not saying the entire move from beginning to end is frame. I'm saying the very fringes, the very end of it, it's frame, in my opinion. Armenian arm wrestler, yo, what up? Chilling. What's up with you, man? Like, I did some research. Wrestling promotion, 4 million subs, held events at that venue. Oh, nice. All right. This is gonna get really nerdy. I won't read the entire list. Well, maybe I should. Yeah, you know what? I'll speed read through it. If any of you guys want to discuss any of this, let me know. He says, what are the major muscles of arm wrestling? They are listed below. Note that I will only list the major muscles as there are a laundry list of tiny muscles that would make this more complicated. Highlighted muscles are the ones that aren't typically trained in average gym goers. Some sports/activities will train these muscles, however. Rock climbing puts a huge emphasis on finger flexors. Baseball puts a large emphasis on internal rotation. Manual labor puts emphasis on almost every forearm muscle. People who have done these previously will find a quicker path to excel in arm wrestling. Could find a quicker path, not will. You never know how hard someone's going to train, how much they're going to care about it, how efficient they'll train, what their genetics are, what they're predisposed to, et cetera. Could find a quicker path to excel. Shoulder internal rotators, side pressure and press. Oh, so he lists the muscle kind of group, what moves it's used for, and then the muscles listed: subscapularis, anterior deltoid, pectoralis major, latissimus dorsi, teres major. Shoulder adduction, side pressure. Pectoralis major, lat dorsi, teres major. Shoulder flexor, up pressure. Anterior deltoid, biceps. Shoulder extension, back pressure. I always have a different definition of back pressure. I refer back pressure as your ability to utilize your back while maintaining this angle. That's like back pressure, right? Most people say back pressure and they think what I would call posting pressure. So I think I'm wondering which one he means exactly in here. But yeah. Posterior deltoid, latissimus dorsi, teres major, triceps, elbow flexors for back pressure or rising. Elbow flexors. He says that's used for back pressure or rising. No. Rising has nothing to do with your elbow flexors. In terms of rising, radial deviation above the wrist here has nothing to do with your elbow flexor. I mean, I guess no, because if this is like weak, then this just fails. It doesn't matter how. Huh? No, all the muscles that support radial deviation are within the forearm. So I don't know why he put. Okay. Biceps, brachialis, brachioradialis. Ooh, elbow flexors also your pronator teres. Your pronator teres is also an elbow flexor. Missing that one, my boy. Elbow extensors, the triceps brachii, pronation, pronator teres, flexi carpi radialis, and pronator quadratus. And we can even mention in pronation through your frame, like we talked about. Supination, biceps brachiali or brachii, supinator, wrist flexors or cupping, flexor carpi radialis, flexor carpi ulnaris. Although, but like you said, there's some smaller ones for sure. Probably with the elbow flexion, not mentioning the pronator teres as well, because that's a smaller muscle, but still an elbow flexor. Radial deviation, rising, extensor carpi radialis, abductor pollicis longus, and flexor carpi radialis. Yeah. ulnar deviator chopping, extensor carpi ulnaris, extensor carpi. They put the same thing twice. And finger flexors, containment, lumbricals, interossei, flexor digitorum superficialis, and flexor digitorum profundus. Okay. Sorry. That's the list of muscles used. So basically, yeah, he talked about side pressure, back pressure, posting, pronation, rising, chopping, cupping. He didn't go over any wrist extension, which can be utilized certainly in arm wrestling. I think that's, but you got everything else that I can think of. That's good. It's a good list. Where you guys at? Log in, Drew, let it break. Oh, Juggernaut Kaufman. King's move is the defense of an arm bar. Have to turn thumb or palm up to finish, or prevent the slight pronation at the start, none of which is easy to do. Yep, definitely don't think it's easy to do. And like I said, I'm not trying to come across like a hater of the King's move. I just have certain opinions of how it's done. And but it's not like they're negative. People take them as negative. It's all like, unless I say it's like the best and it's all strength and they're just the strongest people, everybody thinks I'm a hater. It's weird. How do you break down your weekly workouts? Do you break down your lifts between hand, bicep, shoulders, etc.? Says Jeff. Generally, training is broken down. Every day is hour and a half of big muscle groups, and then hour and a half of hand and wrist in each workout. Right. So, and then I do push pull. So if I'm going to the gym 5 days a week, push, we'll say chest, and I'll be like 5 different chest exercises, and then cupping and grip. Pull, we'll do palm up biceps, 5 different exercises, isolating different ways to isolate the bicep, and then pronation and rising for the hand and wrist. Push, shoulders, we'll be doing overhead press, front raises, lateral raises, rear delt, shoulders, and then it'll be back to cupping and grip, and then we're on pull. Would be reverse curl, everything, hammer curl, reverse curl, for 5 different lifts, and then pronation and rising again. I do pronation and rising on days that I do pulling, because your pronator, like I said, is an elbow flexor, and they fall a lot into the same camp. So that's 4 days a week, and then the 5th day. Right now, it's going to be like a hypertrophy. Why does that sound weird? Hypertrophy day? Yeah, it's just high volume days for like the stuff that is most important for me that I didn't hit the day before. So if Saturday is hypertrophy day, why does this feel weird? Why do I feel like I'm saying the wrong word? Anyway, then I will focus on the most important lifts probably from the first 3 days. Maybe not from the day before, because it's still gonna be beat up, but just high volume stuff. And then table time on Sunday and Monday off. Or Monday could be, rehab day. I just take it off. Let's see. The Juggernaut says, hope you're doing well, by the way, Derek. Yes, sir. Doing good. My son and Lucas and I are rooting for you, says Sam. Thank you, Sam. I appreciate that. Thank you for the support, man. Thank you. Arm wrestling by Batola. How do you beat a top roller if you can't even get a grip of him to top roll him? Well, it depends. Are you trying to top roll a top roller? That's what your goal is there? If you can't even get a grip of him to top roll him. Well, basically 2 top rollers 99% of the time is going to be in the straps, especially if they're proficient. Then it's going to be a lot of who's going to, well, there's different builds, right? If I'm really long, you have a short form, we'd have to play this game a certain way. If you have a long form and I have a long form, we play this game a certain way. It also depends on how you like to top roll. Are you low hand top roller or high posting top roller, high knuckle top roller, right? Are you going to be defensive or are you going to be offensive in your top roll, right? Are you going to prioritize establishing hand control first, especially as a top roller? Most important thing, right? Prioritizing hand control in a top roll versus top roll fight. We'll say I'm going against a clone of me, right? It's literally another guy built just like me, and he is doing a high knuckle top roll, right? and I'm dedicated to out top rolling him. And like I said, it'll probably be in the straps. It's almost always in the straps. Then when they say go, it's going to be who can establish hand, because we're both super weak in a hook. We're not going to fight in a hook. It's all who's going to win whose hand. That is it. The pin is way over there, but that doesn't matter. It's really just who's going to dominate whose hand, because we're both hand arm wrestlers. So whoever wins this hand fight is going to be the guy. That guy wins. Okay. So that's all that matters. The pin, well, that's by default going to happen. Whoever wins. Okay. So you got to look at it as such. So all that matters is who conquers whose hand. Then the fight is in the center of the table. This is the whole arm wrestling matches right here. Because in a top roller versus top roller, guaranteed, if I take your hand, you lose. Okay. So it's going to be height. It's going to be not being offensive. Defensive posting will, or say my elbow's in the front right of the pad, and they say go, then I'm as tall as I can. So to bait your opponent into being too offensive, to allow you to get height, leave your elbow tall as you can, as long as you can. So when he's going, he's dropping his elbow, he's sliding his elbow, he's dropping his leverage. Then all of a sudden you're taller, and then you get it. You shouldn't be worrying about gripping your opponent too much if you're a top roller, right? Especially in the straps. That shouldn't be the biggest thing, is how you're going to contain your guy you're trying to top roll, right? So height, patience, right? Height, and stay up there, stay tall, and fight that, right? That's going to be the key to being another top roller in the straps, assuming it's like your clone, right? And he's arm wrestling the same way you do. Are you feeling okay? Your weight seems to be on the low end. I'm a little bit light right now, but I feel good. Arm wrestling Tola, I'm better in all lifts and still can't top roll this guy. Well, if you're just holding on, then there go pretty much all your lifts. As a top roller, top rolling is an offensive move. You want to be in the driver's seat. You don't want to be passenger princess, right? You don't want to be playing defense and trying to stop that guy. You want to make him try to stop you, right? That's the whole thing. So if you're putting everything in trying to contain him and control him, make him try to contain and control you. If he won't, that means it's going to be in the straps. Either he'll hold on or it's going to be in the straps. And then in the straps, you can still utilize the straps to show him your power, because the strap will bring him with you. Let's see. Corey says, in the last month I had tennis elbow. A week later, turned golfer's elbow. What do you do to reduce or heal either? Time. Inflammation of the nerve, of your ulnar nerve, and any and all of the nerves. Time. Unless there's kind of something happened and it's being like an impingement somewhere, then just time. Anti-inflammatories. Keep your arms straight. I give a lot of advice to like brand new guys that come to my practice. Tonight, sleep with your arms straight, right? Your nerves are inflamed. So what I used to do is either there's a few times where I'd wrap like lightly, no pressure at all, but lightly wrap like a t-shirt or a small towel around your elbows when you sleep, if your arms are really beat up, to remind yourself when you're sleeping to keep your arms straight. Or I would just tuck my arms into the sides of my boxers. That way when I sleep, maybe sleep kind of like a zombie. But you want to keep those nerves free flowing so they calm down. That's the biggest thing, right? Some people do take certain things that are anti-inflammatories. Some people smoke certain things that are anti-inflammatories. Ice, hydrated, all those things, get those nerves to calm down. That's the best way to deal with that type of crap. And don't rush into it too soon. New guys need to warm up a lot and get all that stuff warmed up. DF, there he is. Emiliano says, I would love to see you doing pull-ups like Levon. Levon does partials, right? Well, was he doing them with the weight belt, or is he just doing them free hang? I don't know. I don't know how many. I haven't tested to see how many like partials I can do. So I think the only video I'm thinking of Levon doing pull-ups is with partials. I'm not saying he can't do full hang, dead hang pull-ups. I'm saying, but I think the video I was seeing, he was doing kind of like partials. I don't know. I wonder how many I could do those. But yeah, pull-ups are great. I can do some pull-ups. I'm not amazing at it, for sure. I'm not built to do pull-ups. Long arm and super heavy. Yeah, not really the best build for pull-ups, but I can do them. I do them every week, a few times a week. So, question, can the strongman converts reach the level that they are expect to be without pulling tournaments like Worlds? Even Levon pulled and won Worlds. It's tough. It's a bit different for them. It's a bit different, especially like in Larry and Brian's situation. Now, I'm not saying that they see it this way or that they are some type of way, but I'm saying, think about this, man. Your entire life, all your money, a big chunk of your money, if not all of it, is based on social media. You've achieved amazing things. People think you are the strongest, the man, absolute beast. They want to see you move forward. If you start doing things that can damage your image and make people lose faith, make people lose belief. Oh, you're not as special as I thought. The odds of them watching those videos and believing you and following you so tightly is lower. So it's hard to talk people something like, because tournaments are super ugly. Tournaments are super, like, even if you go in there as the strongest guy, there's definitely no guarantee you're going to win. It all depends on your matchups, and then you're going to not to mention all the guys in the after poll and me trying to get a hold of you and all this stuff. So they have to kind of, in a sense, choose between, I don't want to say it's not directly their livelihood or getting more experience, but a little bit. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, how do they get experience to grow in the sport, but without competing all the time and getting a million videos of them losing and having their YouTube channel drop? Not that they lose all the time, but they might, right? So that's kind of the balance. And so people always say, Brian or Larry or all those guys, they should pull tournaments. And I agree. But you got to remember, Levon was nobody until he was Levon. Brian's starting as Brian. Larry started as Larry. That's the difference. They're starting with all spotlights on them. That's rough, man. That's really hard. That's really hard. You're going to be scrutinized at every turn. People don't like the random viewers don't understand how long it took Devin, Levon, every top guy to get there, and that they were nobodies until they got there. And they worked really hard for years and years and years before they got there. They only see what's in front of them. And so they're going to judge Brian based on what they see right then. Oh, either he sucks or he's good. That's it. Not like, oh, it's just going to take some time. The general viewer doesn't look at it that way. So it sucks. I feel so bad for them being in that situation. That sucks. But yeah, it would be great for them to pull tournaments. But I understand why they wouldn't. Let's see. Corey says, you should call out Dennis. He wants an opponent, but not a top 10. Best time for him to call for it, or even call out Krill. Yeah, I heard Levon mention me versus Krill. Interesting. Arm wrestling, Batola, no problem. Josh Tormashki, quit golfing and playing tennis. Yeah, there's your biggest problem right there. Quit golfing and playing tennis. How to best deal with newbie arm wrestling pain. That's basically what I just talked about, GB19. Kaufman says, can you become an elite polar without truly being humble? Can you become an elite polar without being humble? Yeah, there's a lot of people that became elite polars without being humble. For sure. There's a bunch of cocky dudes. Let's see. Arm Wrestling Batola says, thoughts on my poll day / arm wrestling plan. Where did you posted your entire poll day / arm wrestling plan? Did I miss it? I don't see it. I missed it. Kaufman, smiley face. Loggy says, in my opinion, refs should remind pullers that they can use the straps directly when they both have repeatedly slipped at the center in the previous rounds intentionally. I feel like pullers sometimes forget this. Yeah, but sometimes you want to slip. Sometimes you'd say yes to a strap against this dude and no to a strap against this dude. Like, yeah, I might be wanting the straps all day, but you know what would be better than me getting the straps? This guy holding on to me for dear life. Right? And so, yeah, against all these guys, I slipped. I wanted the strap. But this guy, I've been watching him all day. He's going to hold on. He holds on in the worst positions. And they offer me the straps? No. He's about to hold on to me. Right? So there'd be certain situations where throughout the tournament I'd want to slip, and other times where I would not want to slip. Right? DF said, hi. Atlanta says, I realized Derek started doing arm wrestling lives again. Missed it last week, though. Last week, my power was out. I'm in California, guys. Fires. Although there was no fire here, what the power company is doing is just shutting off random electricity all over the place to save potential fires of their power lines getting blown down from the winds. saving themselves from getting sued. That's what it really is. But they're so they're cutting off random power lines for like some people had no power for like 4 days, no fires, just because there's fires over in LA and that way, nowhere near me, but they would just cut off everybody's power because potentially the power line could fall and start a fire. But if y'all did proper maintenance on all your power lines, why are they falling over from wind? Anyway, I don't know, just crazy, man. Some people were without power for days. But anyway, the one day I had no power, I was good. I made it. I was pretty lucky. So many of my friends, everybody around here had no power for multiple days. I had power the whole time besides Wednesday. I had no power that day. So that was the only day I didn't have it. That's why I didn't go live. Arm Wrestling Patola says, pull-ups. Oh, you want me to go over your whole work? Pull-ups, 3-set, close grip, pull-ups, 3-set, bicep curls with bars, bicep curl with a bar, 3 sets, pronation, 3 sets, rising, 3 sets, wrist curls, 3 sets, supination, 2 sets, and anti-top roll Mazurenko handle, 2 sets of holds. That's a bunch of stuff, man. You got a lot of stuff in there. There's also 3 sets of what? There's also how much rest are you getting between sets? So you're hitting bicep, you're hitting brachialis. So you're hitting some brachialis, you're hitting some lats, you're hitting some biceps. You're hitting some rising, some pronation, some wrist curls. I don't know. I wouldn't do anything like this personally for me, my style of training. No, I want to give a full workout. I want those things to get a lot of work. I wouldn't do 3 sets of pronation, like, all right, pronation, done. And then try to do that same thing again tomorrow. I wanted to give it time to heal, right? So I would make sure there'd be at least a day in between, and we want to give more work, especially with the big muscles, like biceps and everything above your forearm. Then I want to give it 5 days to heal. I want to hit it hard. I'm gonna go heavy. I'm gonna give it lots of rest in between. I'm gonna try to get stronger at it, and then I'm gonna give it days to heal. Ivana title match in Georgia, that would have been awesome. That would be cool. Legend of Nelda, yo, are you back? Are you back, Derek? Don't give up your dreams. Just because I wasn't live doesn't mean I'm not doing stuff with arm wrestling, guys. My life is arm wrestling. Remember, I'm still running one of the biggest teams in North America as well. So I'm still at practice every week, doing all that stuff, just not live sometimes. But no, I'm not out, man. I'm not out. Do you think you could still beat people like Bowen and Barbora? Barbora? Yeah. Got that still. Reflex says, hello. Been a minute since I've checked in. What's going on, Reflex? Oh, there was no stream last week. Yeah, my bad. California problems. Gotta get out of there, Derek. I know, but I got a kid here, man. I'm not going to leave her. Corey McPhee says, so what's the news about you and King of Cali? If you can't tell, I'm trying to get you into a match. Yeah, but what about it? What about me and King of Cali? Rolling blackouts like North Korea. How rich state of California didn't figure out this issue yet. Says GB19. Nelda says, Derek, are you excited that Trump won? And do you have any hope for California? Damn, definitely not going to get into politics on here. I do hope stuff's going to be cheaper. That's going to be cool. And that's all I'm going to say, but I'm definitely not going to get in politics on here, though. You're crazy. Arm Wrestling Bitola. First super chat of, man. Well, I haven't been live. It was like months since last time I was live, and I didn't get any super chats last time. So that's the first super chat in like months. Thank you. Oh, man. That laugh just sounded like Ryan Bowen. I'm just going to shorten it. AW Bitola. And I don't even know how much that comes out to an American, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna do this. MKD 100. I don't know. Oh wow, you can't even read the MKD part. Oh, that's bad. Sorry. AW Patel. It's a big piece of chalk, man. It's hard to write accurately with it. All right, give me a break. Let's see. Oh man. Nuclear Nadal message retracted. I don't know what he was saying. Moderators got to him before I saw it. Who's number two on your team after you? Meg Mike. Nuclear Nadal. Derek, Alex Topperl challenged you for a match against Schoolboy. When? Where? Who? How? When? I haven't seen it. This is my first of me hearing it. It's right here. Legend of Nelda says, I just thought with your forearm tattoo, you'd be a right winger. My forearm? Wait, why would this? And who's to say I'm not? I'm not getting into it. I'm not doing it. Not doing it. It's not smart to get into politics on social media. Reflex is not the Ryan Bowen though. Not the Ryan Bowen laugh. Corey says last live you said they were taking your number one. Oh yeah, and they need to at least call you out. But you're. Oh okay. Yeah. I mean more. I think they're going to release it soon. I don't know if they released it yet. The about what they're going to do with the rankings, but we'll see. We'll see. NLV says, "What's up, Derek? Thoughts on bench press for arm wrestling? Bench press is good. Training for arm wrestling. Is it the most conducive to arm wrestling? Is it the best chest lift? Although I know it uses more than chest for arm wrestling. No. But does it have carryover? Yes. Yes. First off, there's not going to be a chest exercise you're going to get. I guess you could go crazy with some dumbbells, but the odds of injury are really high. There's not going to be a bigger chest exercise that's going to hit your CNS. So most arm wrestlers don't train legs. Most. I know some of you do. I do. I train legs. I get it. Most don't, right? So in terms of upper body, what heavy lift are you going to get that's really going to train your CNS really heavy? There's not a lot of options besides bench press that people are actually going to do. So you got to think about that. Training your CNS so you don't get CNS fatigue. You can handle load for longer. There's that. That's a big perk of doing heavy bench. Not to mention, obviously, there's it reinforces your shoulders, your pec major, your pec minor, and all those things. Your pec major helps with internal rotation. On top of your subscapularis and your lat, it helps with internal rotation. Old school arm wrestling. That's your pec major. Your pec minor helps with elbow adduction. So side pressure. Side pressure is a mixture of this and this, right? That's side pressure. So that's the majority of that is going to be pec. The majority of that movement is going to be pec driven. So does it have the biggest carryover in terms of movement? No, I would say pec deck, things that are going to be bringing your elbow to your center line is going to be best. Anything that's to bring your elbow to center line will be best. So a pec deck, like the machine where you put your elbow on and you drive it to your center line, that would have more carryover than flat bench. Or maybe a cable crossover and crossing them, that would have more carryover to arm wrestling. But you're going to get a way heavier load with bench press, with flat bench. So I do it. A lot of guys that are really known for side pressure. You see Levon bench pressing, Jerry bench presses all the time. It's definitely has a play in it for sure. Let's see. Where were we? Oh, Legend of Nelda says, doesn't it say? It says Eine Liebe, one love. Thank you, Loggia. We know you are, Derek. We appreciate you being here. Wow. Reflex. Nuclear says, on one of England's posts, I asked him to set Schoolboy versus Chance or you, and Alex replayed, Derek is scared to accept or something. What? No one ever told me about this stuff right now. James M says, Derek would smash School Girl. You mean School Bus. GB19, Derek next match, East versus West, King of the Table? Question mark. I don't know. Those guys don't talk to me anymore. I don't get to the fact that I don't hear from them very much. There's two. Okay, so apparently Core Sports is out. So that makes sense as to why Don Idris never messaged me back. I haven't talked to him forever, the owner of Core Sports. Okay, so they're apparently done. Don was super cool. I like Don a lot too. Kind of sad that he's not around anymore for this. But Engen and me have twofold relationship, right? One, Engen is my friend. He is my buddy. I know I could hit up Engen and talk to him about non-arm wrestling things if I wanted to, or training advice or anything like that stuff. And Engen's my guy for sure. But there's also the East versus West promoter owner aspect of it, and I have to respect that. And so, just business wise, not talking about if I'm friends with them or if I have a history with them at all. I lost. Value is down. Derek lost to Matt Mast and stuff. Value was down. Doesn't make a ton of sense for them to look at me or be blowing me up with offers. I get it. Doesn't bother me at all. Also, I have complete faith that due to my friendship with Angin and all the guys that are involved with it, I know that if and when I'm fully ready and I tell them, hey, I'm so confident that with one phone call of me hitting up Angin, when I feel like I'm fully ready for a match, that he'll be like, okay, when? Which one? What do you want? I'm confident in that. But yeah, I don't talk to him very often. They're not hitting me up, but I'm sure it's more like a Derek will let us know if and when he's ready. And I could probably get a match. But yeah, I'm not in any crazy rush right now. So something will be set up. You make a good human body professor, says GB19. Corey McPhee says Derek would smash last year's bus, but his new videos look stronger in my opinion. Oh, thank you so much. You're a beast. Thank no problem, NLV. David Simpson says, anyone see Mike's 196 pronation lift? Very clean. There you go. Is Matt now in charge in King of the Table? Matt. Huh? What do you mean nuclear? Is Matt in charge of King of the Table? What do you mean? You're talking about Matt Mass, but why would he be in charge of King of the Table, the promotion? Bald guy. Lee says, I think you're a great next match for Brian. Oh, that's my buddy, man. I don't want to try to get in the way. And I don't want the choice to have to be, either I do this to his career that's just getting going, or he does this to my comeback. That sucks. It's kind of like similar to me and Chance. Like, we didn't really want to try to get in each other's way. He's my buddy. I'm his buddy. We didn't want I know everyone wants to see us arm wrestle, but either way, someone had to lose. And since we're boys, we didn't really want either one of us to lose. So it was like, that's kind of why we don't really go for it. Like, someone's going to be held back in this match. And I want him to not be held back, and I don't want to be held back. So I guess that's another reason why Larry quit. He knew Core Sports was shutting down. Larry had nothing to do with Core Sports. Well, I mean, he didn't own them or anything like that. That's a whole separate thing. Okay. You guys want we're gonna do this. We're gonna go over this whole list. I'm telling you guys. By the way, we have 49 people in here, 24 likes, guys. If you can hit the thumbs up button, I would appreciate it. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button yet, thank you. I'm dedicated to going over this entire thing on this podcast. This is interesting to me. Arm wrestling training, arm wrestling techniques, arm wrestling philosophy. That's super arm wrestling. That's super interesting topics to me. So I'm gonna force feed you guys this crap. But I understand it's funner to talk about more pop stuff. So I'm not going to shut that down. But we're going to work our way through this, dude, over the next months. I don't care. We're working our way all the way through this thing. I think it's great. I think we'll be able to cover every topic, and I feel good. This is going to make me feel like I'm actually getting out 1/10 of all the fun facts and knowledge I've accrued about this sport. Also, I got to get rid of this. I worked at the beginning with Brian, at the beginning with Larry, and then there's this huge gap where I don't work with people. People are going to start thinking I can only teach beginning courses of arm wrestling, like the ABCs. No, that's what I'm going to do with them on the day one we work together. As time goes on, we're going to get more intricate. And there's way more ways to look at the sport and different. There's so much. And it's just, I always get this one chance to work with someone on day one or give a beginner seminar or something like that, and it stops. And people are going to start thinking I only know basics. No, it's just I'm talking to beginners, so I got to give the basics. There's a lot more. I want to show what I can do. Let's see. Corey says, the whole reason I call out Kirill, I'm sure Angel would do that, and then buddy-wise, go pull Brian and practice afterwards. G19 says, who's replacing Core Sports? Robert Baxter? That's his correct name. No, Robert Baxter, Core Sports was a streaming service, guys. That's what they do. They stream stuff. They have a website, pay-per-view, and they bring all the cameras and all the people, and they film and stream things. That's what Core Sports is, right? The owner of Core Sports ended up owning part of, I don't know every exact in and out, but owning the majority of King of the Table. They no longer own the majority of the King of the Table. East vs. West became like a brand, and East vs. West owns King of the Table. That's why it says EVW on the corner of the King of the Table brand. So East vs. West is now a company. East vs. West is Engen, Robert Baxter, and then one other guy. And then they have hired other people. They hired on Adam Silver, Larry's ex-manager / cameraman. They hired him on. He's helping run in production. So, yeah. So Robert Baxter just owns part of East vs. West, which owns King of the Table. But they're going to have to find a way to how they're going to have their own production of East vs. West and King of the Table. Reflex says off subject. What games are you playing now? Marvel Rivals still on X Defiant? X Defiant. Jared Spot says, we're talking about the Kings move? Not right now. We did earlier a little bit. Corey says, I believe Robert being smart bought a production team, so all money is internal. That would be smart. That would be cool. Zach Phillips, yo, let's hear about your list, Derek. Doing blood flow band training while listening. You're talking about this list, Zach? So this one, we got like 20 minutes left. You want to get back into the nerdy stuff? What's up, Derek? It's Jeff. My name is Jeff. Higher arm wrestling. Jeff. Which Jeff, man? I know a lot of Jeffs. Jeff. What about Don Idris and that Matt Strongman YouTube guy? Oh, that might have been the guy that helped that own the co-owner of King of the Table. That I think I know who you're talking about, kind of. But yeah, I think he's out. Matt Rhodes, yeah. Yes, that list. Okay, thank you. And that's why King of the Table went to 10 matches, East vs. West style. But it's good that they have. It's good that they have. I was talking to Adam Silver about this on Sunday. He was at practice because he's on my team. Adam still comes to practice like every week. It's good that they have King of the Table and then they have East vs. West. King of the Table will have the more. East vs. West is trying to be the words are going to sound wrong. Crazy ass matches can happen on King of the Table. You would see Brian Shaw versus a polar bear. That would be on King of the Table. They would also have amazing matches, Levon versus Devin, King of the Table. It's going to be matches that are most sought after and interesting. That's kind of what you on King of the Table. Most interesting matches that people want to see that they can think of. That's what goes on King of the Table. East versus West is going to be not just based off that. It's off the rankings. It's off who gets their shot. It's off hardcore arm wrestlers climbing the ladder and trying to reign to the top number one ranked guy in the world. That's all it is. And it's purely that, right? That's what it's supposed to be. So although King of the Table will have some of those matches, if they're sought after, if they're interesting enough, they'll bring some of those East versus West matches over. Other than that, they're going to be able to get a little more inventive with King of the Table. They can have, Brad Pitt versus Tom Cruise. They arm wrestle, King of the Table, right? That they have that ability to be more flexible with King of the Table, which is cool. But they can also have real interesting matches on there. Yeah. I hope Adam Larry didn't end up like Juji Mufu and his cameraman way back in the day. Heard that was a bad deal. No, yeah, something like that. Jeff from old Discord. Oh, hey Jeff. I called you Jeffrey Dahmer because of your glasses. I did. Let's see. Mexicali Arm Fighters, what's up? Says, hello, brother. I hope to see you soon here in Mexicali. Next across the border 3. I won't be able to get off work, man. I got to work, and I can't afford to just call off work to go down there and hang out. Sadly. Hey, you guys get some big sponsors lined up, man. They want me to commentate, put on a seminar, whatever you guys need. You guys can pay me. I'll come down there, though, and then I can call off work. I just can't afford to call off work. Corey says, East vs. West will be branded for purist. King of the Table will be for entertainment basis. So your next match is in King of the Table. Just kidding, says GB19. Damn, GB19's mean. All right, let's get back on this list. Zach Phillips requested the list. He wants to go back into it. All right, we're going to get back into it a little bit. After he lists all the muscles in the muscle groups, he says, this list can be initially overwhelming as there will be muscles listed that you likely haven't heard of, and that's okay. Below are exercises that can train the muscles listed above. Remember, you don't need an isolation exercise for all muscles. Many of the muscles overlap in their function, so compound lifts can cover all the muscles listed above. Below is a list of common exercises that meet the needs of this movement listed above. Okay, Now, remember, I want to reiterate for those of you guys that joined kind of late. This is a list. This is a big document put together by a buddy of mine, Cal Meyer. Cal's been in sport, I'm thinking around 2 years. I'm sorry if that's wrong. It feels like around there. Definitely near the newer part than the veteran part. Okay. Smart guy. But he said he put this whole thing together to talk to new people about the sport and explain the sport, the lifts you can do, techniques, just kind of everything. I told him I would love to read it. I would love to share it with other people. And I'd also love to, I asked him if he's open to critiques. He said yes. So I plan to kind of go over it. And if I see something I disagree with, I'll speak up. But other than that, I expect this to be a really good list. Cal's a really smart dude. So I'm expecting there's going to be a few things here and there I'm going to poke at. But in general, I think it's going to be really good information, right? So he says, okay, list below are the common exercise for each of the following movement categories. The first bullet point will be general lifts. The second bullet point will be arm wrestling specific lifts. Okay, so he's breaking down. How's like the first one says shoulder internal rotators, side pressure / press, wrist wrench, corner to corner, internal rotation on a cable machine. Oh, Cal, I feel I'm gonna have a lot of problems with a lot of that. The more I'm looking at this list of specific exercises, and it's not to say that this stuff wouldn't work, because a lot of it would. All right, he says shoulder adduction or side pressure, wide grip bench press, chest fly, wrist wrench, peg to peg, Reno's side pressure adduction lift. Wrist wrench, not my favorite. Not a big wrist wrench fan. If those of you guys that don't know what a wrist wrench is, it's the one where it's like, can I make a fake wrist wrench? Where you hold onto it, you have to grip it as tight as you can. You have to hold onto it, and then it rotates, has straps on either side of it up to a pulley, and you have to rotate it down. But the thing is, you coil it up first, right? So that way it's harder. So it's trying to spin your wrist out. So you have to grip as hard as you possibly can while you're doing it. That's the problem with the wrist wrench to me. Devon's is probably the best. The multi-spinner is going to be your best bet, because you're going to be strapped to it. That's going to be a big plus. Also, its versatility in challenging rise and pronation as you do cupping, or ulnar deviation and supination as you're doing chopping. As you're doing cupping, like low cupping. So way more partial to all these names, man, all multi-spinner. Let's see, we ran for a purist. Kingtail will be. Have you pulled it on the Mac table? I have not pulled on a Mac table yet. Cristobal says we will have a tournament in Baja, Mexicali, Baja next May 3rd. The King of Baja, the prize for overall right-handed winner is $1,000 US, and for the overall left-handed winner, another $1,000. Cristobal, I think you can win them easily. Jared Spot says, that's good prize money, man. I'm glad you guys are getting up there. How much tendon strength is just lifting, though? How much tendon strength is lifting? I guess it would depend on the lift and how you're doing it. GB19 says, why Kirill not offered a match yet, or he doesn't want to pull? He's been training for 4 years on and off. I haven't heard anything besides that. I heard that Levon mentioned me. Jeff Hakala says, does anyone put 2 champion arm wrestlers on 3D biomechanics sensors like they do for almost all mainstream sports? It would be really interesting to see the forces generated in champion match. That would be interesting. Not someone doing this, someone actually that knows how to perform different moves and see what muscles they're using. That would be interesting. Aaron Castillo, yo! I fixed the wrist wrench problem by putting grip tape on it, so you don't really need to squeeze it very hard to hold it. Try it sometime. It's great. Or I can just completely eliminate the grip part by just strapping my hand to it. Yeah. Aaron Castillo, love you, by the way, man. One of my favorite people. Okay, so He's for side pressure. He said wide grip bench press, chest fly, and wrist wrench, peg to peg, Reno side pressure, adduction lift. Shoulder flexors or up pressure. He said overhead press, bench press, heavy up pressure, isometrics. Up pressure. Up. What's he called? What is up pressure? Up, but then the elbow come off the pad backwards, but then that's hammer curling. What is up pressure? What do you guys think? What does he mean by up pressure? What do you guys think? I don't know this term. I'm not sure, but the muscles he's saying for up pressure: overhead press, bench press, heavy up pressure isometrics. Interesting. I'm not sure. Shoulder extensors or back pressure, rows, pull-ups, lat pull-downs, cup and drag. Yeah. I don't even work out my back specifically. The most I would do is pull-ups, but I do those in my pulling days for my biceps and or my brachial or like hammer curling days, brachialis. And I don't do a back day. Back is already strong enough. Back is already stronger than my elbow flexor and my wrist. I don't need to focus on a really big back day, not until my hand and wrists are strong enough to convey all the back pressure, lat pressure that I do have. And that's true for most everybody. So if you start getting arm wrestling, you're like, I got to get a heavy back day. It's trying to roll my life away. You're like, dude, like, unless you can do a one arm like hang with your wrist fully flexed, arm fully tight, you can sit there and hang. And then the first thing that fails is this while your arm stays tight, this just opens up, then cool, start working on your back. But if you're hanging, somehow you get all these things and you're like, oh, you let go and you're holding on, what's probably going to give out first is going to be this, almost 100% for everybody. Then you're going to be up in your fingers because your fingers will be able to hold more than your wrist. Then what's probably going to happen after that is your arm will start opening up and then your lat open up last. Yeah, so links in the chain, man. You'll start with the other stuff. I don't know why new guys always think they got to hit the back really hard. It's weird. It's not weird. I mean, I get it. We call it pulling. We're pullers. Back. Get it. Devin D. There he is. What's up, dude? Aaron says, I'll come visit your team sometime this year, I think. Looking forward. Yes, sir. Lloyd Christmas. Hey, here's my boy. What up, Xavier? Corey McPhee says, any of you on TRT therapy only? What's your dose? And if performance usage, what's your dose? Thanks. GB19 says, how's Emma doing? How you doing? She gave a thumbs up. Archdog, serious question. Why do you think Paul Passmore didn't get his chance on East vs. West after that Challenger Series win? It kind of annoys me. Paul Passmore. Love me some Paul Passmore, by the way. That's my guy. You got him. Okay. What do you get? I don't remember the exact specifics. Why would Paul not get a chance? Well, one, I don't know, because I'm gonna speak on this really ignorantly in terms of the facts. I don't know if there was an actual something. No, there was conflicted or the time conflicted or something. I don't know if something like that happened. East versus West, to some extent, especially in terms of giving people their own first chance, like their breakout match, they're gonna look a lot at like crowd and views as well. They're trying to make money, trying to sell pay-per-views. So Paul Passmore, I know, does barely any social media at all. Paul and Candy, great people, love him to death. But in terms of that, generating views, it's not going to be that heavy. Besides the arm wrestling community that know he is, and that'd be really interesting. I'd love to see Paul on that stage. I definitely think he's earned it. But I can see that not being super valuable to them in terms of selling pay-per-views. But like I said, I don't know what happened behind the scenes. I have no idea, man. Sadly. But Paul's awesome, amazing dude. Love that dude to death, him and Candy. And I definitely think he does deserve to be on that stage. But I know that things like that is that as arm wrestling goes forward, that's just part of the game, man. You have to be putting in some work to help blow up the sport, sell more views. They want people that are going to do that, especially like King of the Table stuff, right? You got to come with the complete package. Or if you're not the complete package, then you have to be so insanely strong, ready to take on a top, 5 dude they won't worry about the social media part, right? Devin D says, when's your next match? No idea. Archdog, he smoked that French champ on the Challenger Series and they never called him back. I wonder why. There has to be. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, interesting. GB19 says Bob Marley. Oh, you like the shirt? This is an old shirt of mine. Okay. Back onto this real quick. We only got like 4 more minutes. Oh, you guys want to learn something cool? Okay, we're not getting off this topic, but we're getting on to another kind of weird topic. Me and my boy DF, Devin's forearm in here, we're in Discord all the time, you guys. If you guys ever want to hang out with us on Discord, there's a lot of gaming going on, but there's also arm wrestling talk and stuff going on. DF can post a link right now in the chat to his Discord. If you guys ever want it, you'll see me in there often, chatting it up with the boys, right? But I was telling DF, sometimes I get bored or whatever, and I like just watching anatomy videos and learning more about the arm and the body, et cetera, et cetera. Where is the supinator muscle? Supinator muscle. About 95% of you, I don't care if you lie on the chat, don't lie. You're probably going to lie. You don't have to lie to kick it, all right? Because I know I was one of these people too, previous to about a week ago. Supinator muscle. We supinate, we chop in a supinator muscle, like somewhere down in here, maybe, like somewhere in there. You'll supinate, flexes, supination. Yeah, supination. Right in there, somewhere. Oh, man, your supinator's up here, dog. Your supinator's up here. So this is just kind of interesting to me. The what happens in rotating your hand, pronation and supination. Your ulnar bone, right? Because there's 2 bones. There's one up here and there's one down here in your forearm. There's 2 bones. The top one's your radial bone, bottom one's your ulnar bone. The ulnar bone is fixed in your elbow. The ulnar bone does not move. The only thing that happens when you pronate and supinate is the radial bone, the top one, goes across. It moves to the right, to the left. Right. So your supinator muscle is on the top backside up here. Top backside of your arm, right up here. It pinches, so you got this bone up here, you got the bone down here, and it brings this bone backwards to spin it around this bone. It rotates your thumb outward. Now, the funny thing about this is everybody trains in arm wrestling, not everybody, but the vast majority of people that train supination have like a pulley. The pulley's up here. They put something right here, and they go, ugh. Right? If you think about it, this bone is staying the same. So by doing this, I'm just using internal rotation. I'm just using our elbow adduction to try to force the weight. It's not really training supination. To train supination, guys, you would need. What do I have? Do I have anything? Okay. I don't have anything that would be good to show. Okay, whatever. My massage gun. So you would need to grab something that has weight out. Like think of like a sledgehammer. And you would, the optimal way to train your supinator muscle specifically, would be to externally rotate it out. Right? That would be the way to target, to isolate your supinator muscle more specifically, because that's the way it works, right? As I go this way, this muscle's pinching on the back of my arm and bringing this bone over. So that's how you would more specifically isolate and target your supinator muscle, is by doing like a supination rotation outward. Another word to describe. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm doing. But that's a way better way to isolate your supination. Now, your bicep stops right here and then kind of breaks into 2. The big connection's up here, but there's also another one over here. So when you are supinated, your bicep will help with the load. Your bicep contracts and commits the most when it's more palm up, because both these connection points are pulling, right? So that's why under extreme load, look at that tattoo. Your bicep, let's see if I get a shadow. Okay, watch the bicep. See how the bicep flexes when you supinate naturally? So your bicep helps with heavy resistance when you're supinating, but pure supination This is not it. That is not it at all. There's some supination in there, but really, if you want to train your supinator, it'd be rotating it out. Crazy, right? The more you know. Where are we at? Bicep. Matthias Bedard watching anatomy videos on Pornhub. Nah, just regular ones. Devin D, you going Saturday and Sunday? Sunday for sure, maybe Saturday. Corey McPhee says, would you like to see Mega Mike against... Oh, who would you like to see Mega Mike against? Him versus Leonidas would be good. King of the table. That would be interesting. Yeah. Leonidas, that'd be cool. Link above join my Discord. Video killed the radio bone? Radial. Okay. Lee says, yep, you're right. This is the reason I get golfer's elbow. I started more supination exercise to help with my outer elbow pain. It worked. Reverse wrist curls. Arch dog. What about reverse wrist curls, Arch dog? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about? Isometric holds for pronation. Pronation? Small pronator helps pronate the wrist. That's your pronator quadratus. Pronator teres, boom, here, divides into two. Right? One's above, one's below it. The one that's above it helps with elbow flexing, right? Elbow flexing. The one that's below it just helps turn the bone over, right? Remember, because that radial bone, the ulnar bone stays stationary for the most part. So elbow flexion should be present when maximizing the load on your pronator. So this crap where you put your arm on the table and you just do this, no, it's not maximizing the load on your pronator because your pronator is an elbow flexor. Pronator teres, the big one. Also, and this is true for supination and pronation. Pronation. Palm up, palm down. Pronated. This is pronation as well, right? You know, you guys want to know why? You know why you can do so much more weight on pronation when your palm is like this to thumb up? So from palm up to thumb up, you know why you can do like 70 pounds? And you know why it's harder to do palm up to palm down? Because palm up to thumb up, your brachialis and your bicep, these are both connected to the top of that bone, that radial bone. So the way your bicep and brachialis, specifically your brachialis even, work a ton in this is it's trying to bring you back to neutral. It's just trying to always pull this back to neutral, right? Even if you overly pronate, it's trying to bring you back to neutral. It wants to be neutral. That's where it's at its strongest, the elbow flexor part. So when your thumb's neutral, right? So that's also what it's trying to do is bring back here. So people can do like 70 pounds like this because the brachialis is helping it come back to neutral. It's assisting the pronator teres muscle, bringing it back to neutral. But when you start going past neutral, it's not going to help you drive downwards. If anything, it's going to be working against you a little bit, right? Because you're going to be stretching it out. So there's defensive pronation, something from down to up. And then there's offensive pronation from a high attachment to down. Yeah. Work them separately, you guys. Always work them separately. Offensive pronation, defensive pronation. Most arm wrestlers do not do this. Most arm wrestlers will do it from a low attachment pulley, and if anything, they'll try to over pronate. But the moment it goes past this point, it's no longer it's barely hitting your pronation at this point. So it doesn't really do anything. Train them separately. No, pronation doesn't need to be isometric holds. Not that those don't work, but you're active. Arm wrestling, there's so many things. I could just talk all day. I'm already 5 minutes past. Arm wrestling is mostly an isometric movement, besides in the hand and wrist. To better isolate your opponent's muscles and things like that and to gain advantage, there has to be flexion present in the wrist. So, yeah, people say it'd be awesome just to go sideways. Now, that's utilizing your chest muscles, your shoulder, your brachialis, and everything is tight. Elbow flexors are tight. But wrist, if you want to start with that in an optimal position, we'll be starting like this, right? That would be the wrist starting in an optimal position. These are your elbow and everything else is starting in a great position. But the wrist is not starting in the most optimal position. It's starting flat. right? It's not starting fully engaged like the other muscles are, right? These are being forced into a negative cycle. Negative cycle is great. It's the most powerful, but this isn't starting in a negative cycle. This needs flexion. It has to get there so then it can have the negative cycle. So the point is, it's not just hold and drop. That's not optimal in terms of efficiency. Gaining ground in your hand and wrists is how you improve your position and how you isolate muscles on your opponent, right? So wrist flexion is important. That's why I'm not a big fan of doing a ton of isometric work with your wrist. When in arm wrestling, it's wrist flexion, right? Is going to be the biggest thing. You have to move your wrist. Just add this angle to supination train. There you go, Zach. Glad I could help, man. We're just getting started. There's so much more on this list. Does that trigger supination? I don't know which one you're talking about, Archdog. No, Derek, can you still be on? I don't know, man. That kid's getting big, man. Brachioradialis help. I'm not sure. Oh, is that Greg? Hey, Greg. Is pronation best exercise to pump skinny forearms? I mean, sure. Landon and Anderson wouldn't feel odd in Eastside Arm Wrestling says, I'll be in Texas for Easter, so 17. You're going to be there? There you go. We're talking to each other. Derek preaching on me. I know. I'm sorry, Zulu. My bad. I get passionate about this stuff. But now Greg's just going to make a video trying to prove everything I'm saying is wrong. It's going to be the next video comes out, Eastside Arm Wrestling. I'll step up and catch him there. Jared Spot says, or 110 kg my beat. Corey McPhee says, curling offset weight. More weight on inside dumbbell. The curl creates bicep peaking and forearm growth. Arnold. Yeah, so he's talking about getting an overloaded dumbbell where there's more weight on one side than on the other, right? So, I don't know, 15 pounds on this side, 10 pounds on this side. So naturally, you'll have to challenge supination as you do the curls. I like them. Yeah. Yep. Especially for supination. I'm a fan. I think we can generate more force in pronation than with offset dumbbells. But with supination, I'm a fan. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Corey McPhee says, Arnold said that was his trick. What are your thoughts on isolated pronation through the thumb, full range of motion? Oh, I was thinking isometric. I was like, isometric? Oh, isolated. I was like, how can you do isometric with full range? No, I mean, because Emiliano, like, you got to think of it. Something around your thumb, and generally you're going to be doing this from like a low pulley, right? It's pulling you down this way. So palm up, full range of motion around your thumb, like you said. A ton of resistance, hitting pronation. And once you get about here, it's now going to be hitting your brachialis more than anything. It's going to be doing a ton of elbow flexion, and you're not going to be getting optimal results on isolating your pronator teres at all after it hits about this point. Now, once we get over here, dude, I'm basically reverse curling the entire weight. It's barely hitting any pronation at this point. That's why Engen always did things like, here comes a water bottle again. A lot of Engen videos, he would always put something in the back of his hand like this when training pronation. That way it's constantly hitting pronation as you do the entire curl because the weight is pulling directly outwards at all times, right? So he put like a buffer between himself and the strap, which is good. That's another way of doing it. But yeah, you need to be actively hitting your pronator teres and pronator quadratus and all those things throughout the whole movement. That's why, yeah, just blatantly doing a full range, you're not working the entire thing as well as you can be, as well as you could be. I said brachioradialis helps to pronate from palm up to neutral. Yeah. I agree. Greg says, love you there. Kind of, for what it's worth, agree with everything so far. There you go, Greg. I have so much more. I don't know if you've been watching the whole thing, Greg. A buddy of mine, Southern California, sorry, this is the third time I've said this, guys, I know, wrote out this smart kid. I don't know if you guys see it. There you go. Wrote out this whole thing for beginners to explain arm wrestling, lifts, techniques and approaches and training concepts and all these things. And so I figured I'd spend some time going over that, talking about it, give my thoughts on it, what I agree with, what I don't agree with, ways to read something, go over it with you guys, with the guys in the chat, and explain how you could use this for arm wrestling, specifically how this fun fact would help you in your training or on the table, ways to apply it. So, but this is going to take forever, especially with all the questions and stuff. So I think we're just slowly going to work on it throughout the next, 400 live streams because there's a lot here. Yeah. Anyway, guys, it is 6:10. I have to go be dad. We got to go get dinner for the kid. Kid's over there. She's hungry. I gotta go get dinner ready for her. So, yeah, anything you guys want to say? You guys are still in here, 48 people, 40 likes. If you guys hit the thumbs up button, I would appreciate the love. Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be back. I missed you guys. This, no matter what, I've realized, and I think about this a lot. One thing that never gets old to me is expanding my knowledge of the sport and helping spread that. That's something I always have a passion for. I'll get super burnout on arm wrestling pop culture. I'll get super burnout on pursuing as a competitor. I'll get super burnout on different aspects of social media. But learning more about the sport and teaching people the things I learned about the sport, I always have such a passion for that. That's never wavered. If anything, it's only gotten stronger over however long I've been arm wrestling now. It's interesting. So I watch all this. I keep track of where my heart's at a lot because in sports. I'm in a lot of areas. You know what I mean? Running the Reddit, doing the YouTube and the Instagram, and running my team and being an arm wrestler and a commentator. Like I'm in a lot of spots. And I've always probably hidden secret projects working on at all times. So it's like, so I'm always trying to realize like what I have passion for out of this, what I love doing right now, what's grabbing me, you know? So, but yeah, teaching is always the thing, man. I love that. I love helping people learn about the sport. I don't know. That's why I've always said I want to end up being a coach for arm wrestling. That's what I want to retire doing. If at a gym, how do you set strap and dumbbell for? Well, if you have an actual strap like this, then you would literally just put the strap together and put it around the dumbbell, the handle of the dumbbell. It's pretty simple. Just strap through and then just put it around. You can even hold the buckle if you want, or depending on how you want to grab it. If you were trying to do it around your thumb, you can do it like this and put this around the dumbbell, around the handle. There's a bunch of different ways you can do that. Dropping mad knowledge is can we get a hold of that list, or is it a secret for now? I don't know. He said he definitely is down for me to share it, but I kind of want to read it with y'all and go over it slowly. But I guess I'm kind of gatekeeping it doing it that way, huh? I don't know. It's gonna be more fun if we debut it this way and then I released it to everybody, or I could just release it all. I haven't gone through it all yet, you know. And I also said he said he'd be down to make some changes. So I'm hoping some of these thoughts I can send to Cal or tell Cal to start watching this and he can make adjustments on it based on what he agrees with me on. I don't know. Let's see. Liking sub on your way out, says DF. Max says make a standalone video series reviewing it. Could do that. Feed my niece now, says Shmo. What's up, Derek? Can you drop a link to the guide? He just sent it's like a documents. He sent me like the document, so I don't have a link for it. Derek test EQ. Thank you. Thank you later. Who wrote that out? He's from the Black Elbow team / compound arm wrestling team. He's a newer guy on the newer side of arm wrestling. Really smart dude though. Jared, the American coach, right? Corey McPhee says, Derek, you still haven't said who you want to call out or if you have a match booked. I don't have any matches booked. I don't have any ideas in my mind of who I want to call out. The only thing that's kind of danced in my mind is potentially hunting down Matt again. I don't like the idea of arm wrestling a heavyweight. It's not my favorite thing. But I feel like in terms of getting my name back, getting people to believe in me again, getting my name to a level where people would want to buy pay-per-views, where King of Table would be interested in having me, and East vs. West, and improving my stance, I feel like hunting down Matt would be a good thing. Although he's a heavyweight, but he beat me, right? So I don't like the idea of hunting on heavyweights who are in my weight class, but he did beat me. So to beat Matt, I think would be a solid step forward. You know what I mean? But I haven't made any decisions. That's the only name that's been popping in my mind. Should I try to hunt down Matt? Should I try to talk to some promoters and get someone to want that match and get it all set up and everything? I don't know. I've been thinking about it though. And Greg said, for all the disagreements I've had with Derek, I must say he's one of the best arm wrestling teachers / coaches. Maybe Brian would beat Eddie more easily if Derek was around more. Thanks, Greg. I appreciate that. Yeah, I wish I had more time with Brian. But he's in Colorado. I'm not. Call out Schoolboy. Matt's at 115 kg right now. Don't make him put on weight again. I think he was not that heavy when he pulled me. I mean, it wasn't that much heavier. I know he was pretty light. Yeah, that's BS how Devin and Shaw just squeezed Derek out when he laid the groundwork. Could you beat Mass, though? I have no comment on the thing about Devin and Brian. But the could you beat Mass, though? I have some adjustments. I would arm wrestle him differently. I'll tell you that much. I would arm wrestle him differently than I arm wrestled him the first time. So I have some stylistic changes I would make on top of becoming stronger than I was when I arm wrestled him. So I think so. But you gotta do it. You know what I mean? I have all respect to Matt. Matt crushed me. Matt out arm wrestled me. I think I can beat him. Obviously you have to prove it. There's no point in saying it. You gotta go do it. So I'd have to do it. Anyway, guys, I gotta get out of here. Love you guys to death. Next Wednesday, I plan to be on. We're gonna get nerdy with this stuff. If you guys are really interested in getting this, message me. Maybe I'll shoot it to you on Instagram. It's probably the best way to get a hold of me. AW Derek, everything's AW Derek. DF sharing all the links, you guys. Join the Discord if you want to hang out and talk. Still got the website up. If you guys want to check out the awswitch.com, hat, shirt, stickers, things like that. Use discount code AW Derek. NavFit closed down. I might need to find it. I love Jamie and all loyalty. It's literally NavFit is not around anymore, so this isn't me being disloyal. But I might start looking for another supplement sponsor because I was sponsored by NavFit, but they're gone. So if you guys know anybody that owns a supplement company and they want some representation, let me know. Yeah. Either way, love you guys. I'll talk to you guys next week. Peace out.